Welcome back, everyone. This is Sean Casilli, Bay Real Experts, Coldwell Banker Realty in Panama City Beach, Florida. And today I want to be talking about the subject of a finished garage. Does it actually add any resale value to your home, or is it just nice for while you're living there? Well, very good question. First of all, this is my own personal garage. Just finished doing what I did in here. I'll give you a little tour here in a second, but on average, a finished garage is going to be on budget of around $12,000. The short answer is you can probably get about 80% of the value out of whatever you're going to put into it if you do something like this. And I say something like this because I went kind of nuts in here. So if you're basically just doing drywall and some basic cabinetry and some nice lighting like we have in here, you're going to probably, and if you're hiring somebody, you're probably going to spend around $12,000 to $15,000. And that's kind of on the high side because I think even, that's not counting the gym equipment, even with the gym equipment, doing everything myself and getting some really high-end car wash detail stuff put in here, which I'll show you in a second. I think the total budget was under 15. So if you went all out and went nuts and you did it yourself, you could probably do something like this under that budget as well. But getting back to increasing the value of your home, a lot of times we talk about like pools, and pools can actually, in the summertime, help a home sell better depending on where you live. Here in Panama City Beach, it seems like everybody wants a pool until they have one, and then there's a certain percentage of people that don't want one anymore because they got to maintain it or take care of it. If it's a short-term rental, definitely having a pool is going to bring you more rentals. That's a whole nother topic though. But again, with pools, if you're going to go ahead and do a new construction of a pool, you're probably not going to recoup all of that investment. However, same thing with the garage, you probably will sell yours first if there's more competition on the market. So for example, just think about it from your perspective. A Google search probably brought you to this video in the first place. This isn't really typical for my channel to do a garage tour, but it does have to do with real estate. So that's why it's on the channel right now for the subscribers that are watching it. But more than likely, this is going to be someone who... The Bose is disconnected from the cell phone. Good thing she let me know. Scared the crap out of me. Oh, where was I? Oh yeah, where was I? Well, forget where I was. Let's move on because we already covered the resale value. Oh, I was talking about competition. Right now, if you look at the date on this video, there's hardly any competition. There's a shortage of inventory of homes. So speaking of which, if you have a home that you have been thinking about selling, give me a call. I'd love to help you with that. I'll leave my contact information down below. But let's say we're in a buyer's market and there are, we're in a cookie cutter subdivision and this floor plan is repeated several times throughout the neighborhood. If everything else was the same except the garage being finished out, which one do you think would sell first? Probably the one with the finished out garage. So it can help you in certain situations like that. Same thing with nice landscaping. You're definitely going to want to do the sod and the flower beds, maybe some mulch to make it look presentable. But if your neighbor has a few palm trees in the yard and it looks really cool and they've done some like pavers in the front yard, and then your house, you have not, you just got the basic landscape. If both of you go to sell, theirs is probably going to sell first. So that's kind of one of the other points of value that I wanted to bring out on this topic. So for those of you that wanted the actual tour of the garage, thanks for waiting. If you only came to watch the video to hear about my take on the real estate value it could add, then that's the end of the video for that topic, that portion. For the remainder of the video, there's been a few friends and a few other people online that have said, hey, can you give me a little tour of your garage and tell me exactly what you did. And we're gonna get into that now, and we'll leave some links down below to all this cool stuff. So let's get started with that. All right, first off, the flooring. I wanna talk about this. This is called SWISSTRAX, and it's actually the RibTrax version of SWISSTRAX. They make several different types of floorings. This one is about 3/4 of an inch. And you know, before the tile goes down, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So they're modular tiles. There's some of the extras that I have there that I was planning on using to stage a 1-car garage. And then at the edges here, it's like a little more than 15-inch tile that kind of clips together like a puzzle. And then for the edges, where you need a smaller than 1-piece tile, you just use a jigsaw to cut a piece and it fits right in. When you're installing it, you want to start at the front of the garage, and it comes with this nice little transition edge that it clips into. And then you just go from left to right, front to back. And the cool thing that I like about this is they have a thing on their website where you can do different designs with different colors, so you can actually map out exactly what you want your garage to look like. I happen to put these 2 stripes in here to kind of help me keep the cars separated. A lot of people said, Sean, if you're going to put all that stuff in there, you're not going to be able to fit both cars in here. But actually, in this 20 by 20, both cars fit in here. And if I back the Stinger in over here and put the Telluride over here, the Telluride we pull straight in, driver's side is here, and then the Stinger I back in, and as long as the tires are on the black stripes for the driver's side of each vehicle, you can still swing open the doors and get in and out just fine. So I'm gonna drop Jacob Crawford's number down in the description below, but I'm gonna show it right here. If you call this guy and you tell him Sean Casilli, my realtor, or a YouTube video I saw of Sean talking about SWISSTRAX, if you mention my name, he'll hook me up. I can't give you any discount or anything like that, but it does help me out. So that's the only thing. I'm not affiliated. I actually did pay for this floor myself. It wasn't sent to me for free or anything like that. But they do have a rewards program where, like, if you have a friend that will buy and mention your name, then they will send me a small gift card or something like that. Anyways, back to the floor. It's 3/4 of an inch in rise. So you can kind of see how some dirt came in here. And for the most part, it stays clean, but the dirt just falls through and stays underneath the floor. And let me tell you guys, it is not a big deal to have the dirt underneath the floor. I easily vacuum it out, and you know what? Let's transition to talk about the vacuum now. Some people might say, oh, poo-poo, vacuum aid, they're no good. And I'll say the reasons why they probably say that is because it is not a wet, dry vac. But you know what? It suits my needs pretty well. I just vacuum out the floor mats every now and then in the car. And then occasionally, if there's a chunk of dirt in here or leaves, I'll go ahead and vacuum that out. And I'm sorry, my voice is getting kind of scratchy. I'll try and hang in there. In fact, I'm gonna pause for a second, grab some water. Okay, back at it. Got a little bit of water now. So anyways, back to the Cox reel and vacuum here. Actually, I don't think I mentioned the Cox reel. Super handy, easy pull off, and you can adjust that with this knob right here, the tension on the reel, to make it easier to pull off or not. The thing below it, that is actually a master blaster. That black thing right there. I love the tool itself, how I set it up on the Cox reel. Huge pain in the butt, and doesn't actually work that great with the Cox reel. And I'll tell you why. This is so you can dry the car with heated air without actually touching the car with a microfiber towel or, you know, a chamois, anything. Because if you're kind of picky and you don't want swirl marks in your paint, the best thing to do is, if you have a really nice coat of wax or a ceramic coating or even a PPF coating on your car, then you can go ahead and get one of these and dry it just with heated air. I did put in some dedicated circuits, 1, 2, and 3, 20 amp each, because between that, the vacuum, and then this pressure washer, I was tripping breakers. So, you know, I went ahead and just did home runs for each of those things. So that wouldn't be an issue anymore. We also got a deep freezer out here for chicken and steak. Getting kind of off topic. Thanks for bearing with me. Again, like I said, I'll leave links to all of this stuff down below. The Cox reel, I think, was the most handy for the vacuum hose. I love it. This is 50 feet, fits on here perfect. Now, both of these, actually, there is an option to get them with the hose. And I will say, if you want to try and replicate the setup that I did with the Master Blaster, which does have heated air to help you dry, keep in mind it does heat up the hose. I only recommend using the hose that comes with the actual unit. If you use the hose that comes with the Cox reel as an option, it will melt and it won't be fun, it won't be pretty. It will actually kink up, and then the end of it right here will just pop off. It could pop off here, or it could pop off at the connection site inside the Cox reel, which is actually something that I ran into with this setup. Let me flip this camera around for a sec. So here, I tried to make this a clean install. So I cut the hose and then got this 90-degree fitting slip to connect to the Cox reel. Now, it's not a 100% great fit, but let me pull the hose off so you can see inside. And these fittings were super difficult to find, but I did end up finding them on Amazon. Okay, so here you can see how it connects, and I actually had to screw the slip fitting in because it gets so hot, it kept popping out of there. And there's 3 screws because it pops out of the hose, the fitting comes apart, and then it pops out of the reel itself. So it required 3 screws to finally get that to stay put. You can get an extension on this. Ideally, I would say go ahead and get the Cox reel to store the hose, but probably not to run it. If I did it all over again, I probably wouldn't use the Cox reel, because, you know, when you go to wind this up and it's cold, the hose doesn't really cooperate as well as when it's warm. You can see it kind of wants to stand up and go straight across the floor here. But anyhow, I will leave a link for that down below as well. These fittings here, I tried to do like another clean install on this vacuum hose. This was probably more difficult to try and source the different pieces to connect to the Cox reel. This is an 1.25 inch line that comes with the vacuum aid, and the hose that comes on this reel is an 1.5 inch. So that took some doing. And what's the phrase with duct tape? Use it for things that are supposed to stick together and aren't. Anyways, the other cool thing that we did in here was we put in this LiftMaster garage door opener that's side mounted. It's a space saver, so we got rid of the track that goes across the center here with a motor hanging down with either a belt or a chain that would normally connect in the center there. Ideally, I would like to get rid of the track and do a commercial door here as well, but I don't know if the HOA would go for that. So if you're in the garage door manufacturing business, think about that. It'd be nice to have a garage door that HOAs wouldn't care about, that we could get rid of this to have a little bit more overhead space. Why do I want the overhead space? Let's start talking about the cabinets, which I will also link down below. These are Saber cabinets. They're probably not the best cabinets on the planet. I would say they're slightly better than Craftsman cabinets or whatever you get at your big box store. I say slightly better because there's still no soft close drawers, you know, but or the hinges here are not. No, it's nicer. Let me just say that, nicer. This is nothing special. It's just my electrical panel that I painted to match the cabinets. So take a look at this cabinet over here. And yeah, I'm storing some junk underneath it, but I wanted it up off the ground. And I was able to secure it to some studs. And this was the only cabinet I was able to do this to. Ideally, you know, I'd want to be able to sweep under there or vacuum under there. But as you can see, what I was complaining about is the track to the garage. That would be a problem. If I raised this whole section up off the ground to bring the counter height up to about waist level, which right now it's a little shorter than waist level, then, you know, if it matched that, then I wouldn't be able to open the doors on these uppers, which would be a problem. And stand by, technical difficulties. Well, if you notice any difference in the recording quality or camera movements, it's because this new Osmo 5, it can't take it for that long, I guess. You know, we're recording about 17 minutes and then the camera just started flopping all over the place. So that's the first time that's happened to me, so I'm not too sure I like that. So we're gonna talk about the pressure washing system now. We got a Kranzel here. I wanna say about 2 gallons a minute on our flow here with around, you know what, I'm not going to guess on the PSI, but it's safe for washing cars. And that's the whole purpose of this setup is don't want to damage the paint, but you want to be able to wash with minimal amount of effort. So that's what this whole setup is about here. We got some spotless water system, the CR spotless water system here. So you can rinse the car off and, you know, we still want to use the air dryer to get all the water off that we can. But if we miss a few spots, this is really going to help, and it also makes for better foaming soap too. So I will leave a link to this whole setup here. I did want to point out that all of this plumbing stuff is PEX, and this was a DIY thing that I did myself. I modeled it after, when I put the link down below, you'll see the plumbing setup that they use. This probably costs the same amount of money, but this is so much easier to install than the Obsessed Garage version of the plumbing, which is really cool. Don't get me wrong, it looks great, but I threw all of it away because it was too hard for me to install. But yeah, so like here's the foam cannon that you're gonna wanna use with that system. And I think that about covers that. The last thing is the home gym here. It's gonna be kind of hard to do this since I'm holding the phone handheld, but those are my spotter arms. They come down and attach to the rack here. And this PRX system is cool because it'll probably come out to the base. You know what? I'm just going to show you here. It pulls down off the wall and saves some space. So you got a safety pin here so that it doesn't drop on you or your car accidentally. And then let's see, there's gas shocks in here that assist in helping you pull it down. And it's nice to do both sides at the same time, but nice and easy. So when the feet come down, you're still about, a little more than a foot away from the wall. And I decided to put it, the arms don't look completely level because I installed it before the SWISSTRAX. So this is about a 3/4 inch rise on the front side here. And this would be level if I cut holes in the SWISSTRAX. SWISSTRAX will handle the amount of weight that I'm putting on this just fine. So I didn't opt to cut the holes in the floor for that to keep it level. I don't think it's that big a deal. I also got the bumper plates. These are Rogue bumper plates. In retrospect, probably could have got the PRX brand. I think they're pretty much identical and the same thing and just a little bit cheaper. And it would have looked exactly the same except for, the lettering on them. I did get these power blocks at Dick's Sporting Goods, so they don't have to have a whole bunch of dumbbells, but I do prefer using the dumbbells for free weights as opposed to bands. Bands are great for taking on vacation, and for doing some stretching, but that's just me personally. That is a dip station that it's in storage right now on that rack, but you can see on the top portion right here that would connect to the side here, and that's how you do your dips. This is a bench by Rogue. It is kind of overkill. I'll leave a link to that below. By the way, you guys, all of this stuff, these links that I'm leaving down below, I'm not affiliated with them. I don't benefit in any way other than the SWISSTRAX flooring that I mentioned earlier. They might hook me up with a gift card if you mention that I sent you to them. But the reason I went with this Rogue bench is because, first of all, it's blue and kind of matches the theme of the garage. And there's some stainless steel components to it. And we do have it in the garage, so things are going to tend to get a little bit rusty. And I just wanted to prevent that. Plus, it's on wheels. You can move it around. And it's adjustable. Want to hear it? Yeah, a little noisy. But hey, that's quality. And the wheels, they're pretty solid. Rolls around super smooth in here. And that's about it, you guys. I haven't done a walkthrough of my garage before, so sorry if it was kind of sporadic and jumping around. Tried to answer some of the questions that people had the best that I could, but my favorite stuff is this right here. And oh yeah, good lighting in your garage helps too. I think that it's now time to maybe give the baby a bath. Yeah, it needs it. All right, you guys, I will catch you on the next one. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you. And don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below saying, oh my God, I can't believe that the weight rack fell on you. It'll just, people that go straight to the comments will be all freaked out, and then, who knows, maybe they'll watch this 30-minute video waiting to see the thing fall on me. All right, you guys, that wraps this up. See you next time.